I mean, they say what the fuck they said and meant it. Creole, don't call me that shit. I am a white man, Anglo-Saxon. We're gonna brand this. This is gonna be a brand. We're gonna market this, right? Okay, we got Cajuns. You guys don't have Cajuns, we have Cajun. Hi, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning into History with Chemistry, part 2 of the difference between Cajun and Creole. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I teach abstract Black history in an unconventional way. Also, tap the link tree in the description to volunteer and donate to my nonprofit, along with follow my socials. But let's get into the difference between Creole and Cajun, because I think we all using it wrong. Okay, so I ended the last part explaining to you how we got the difference between Cajun and Creole. In order to be Cajun, you had to go through Creolization, meaning you came here French, and then you became a Cajun because you were introduced to the Creole people. You feel me? If you don't know where I'm at, go watch part 1. I don't have time to explain it to you. So the first step of Cajun was Creolization. Second step was Americanization. The Americanization part can easily be explained as when white people realized that they were white in a white country. Child, they were motherfucking untouchable, okay? You can't tell them anything. Now, by this time, Louisiana had already went through the Louisiana Purchase in the 1700s, so that means this was United States soil. This no longer belonged to the French, so don't come over here speaking French and shit. And I mention that because Louisiana started to slowly phase out French until the 1920s when they started to actually reprimand students in school for speaking French. Like they wanted this to be an American and English speaking country, and they were going to get that. So for some, I want to say 200 years, that's a lot of generations to be removed from your native tongue, where you're only speaking this broken French and you're only doing it in private because they ain't playing a motherfucking game. But this erasure of like French through these hundreds of years and through reprimanding the students, ultimately with the students growing up and not teaching their kids that, this was actually vital to, I want to say, how Cajuns identify with themselves and with their heritage and their culture and things like that. Because now you don't speak French, continental French. You speak a broken French. And not to mention, you now also have these different qualities and ways of life that aren't similar to your ancestors. So now you truly are somebody completely different. You are a Cajun person. You're no longer Acadian, right? But like I said, these people did not want to be called anything but what they were. I'm Acadian, bitch. Now, Jim Crow kind of changed things for the Creole people because where there once was a one Creole people, there was no distinction really for real other than the fact that you spoke French, you practiced Catholicism, and you were biracial, right? But once white people got wind of Black people being referred to as Creole and Creole being like heavily associated with the N-word, white people were not considering themselves Creole. Don't call me that shit. I am a white man, Anglo-Saxon. But before this, the one drop rule did apply because if you even had 0.5 milliounces of Black blood in you, you were considered Creole, especially if you spoke French and you practiced Catholicism. What? You extra Creole, baby? You might as well be called a nigga. I'm kidding. Now, in the 1960s, Cajuns decided, okay, if they're not going to stop calling us this shit, we're going to have to find something else for them to call us because obviously they got to give us a fucking nickname. Like, yeah, because you sis, bitch. But no, so I believe it was some Cajun radio station, someone sent a letter. And on the letter, they put Acadiana or Acadiana, however you say it, and they meant to put Acadia because that was the name of the radio station, right? But that stuck with them. So instead of saying, "Oh, you spelt it wrong," they decided, "Okay, we gonna call this Acadiana." However the fuck you say it. They had books, they had stores. It was almost kind of like I said, like a nation. Before there was like this Cajun nation that we know today. It was Acadiana, and they were heavily respected by local officials, government officials, by all people in the community now. But they did not like that fucking Cajun word. The Acadians had 22 parishes. They had a flag, a parade. They had multiple balls throughout the year. They were highly respected people in the community. And now state legislators and different government officials decided, okay, well, obviously we can't get rid of them, and everybody knows them as Cajuns. They may call themselves something different, but we know them as Cajuns. Okay, how about we just fucking accept it? And we make this kind of like a hierarchical class, right? To be Cajun was to be something of like, I don't fucking know, semi-royalty. Now, this was so true that the state actually flew in French fucking teachers from France to come back and reteach these people actual continental French. Because they were going to brand this. This is going to be a brand. We're going to market this, right? Okay, we got Cajuns. You guys don't have Cajuns. We have Cajun. They created a council called the Council of Development of French in Louisiana. Now, this council, to be a member and be a patron of this council, this like organization, right, was fucking amazing. Like, what? You got funding, you got money, you got status. You had status, and obviously these were white people. There were no black people. Know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? Because while all this is happening, these people are now stealing recipes, music, style, literature, so many things from these Creole people and calling it their own, which has bled into the issue today of Creole people getting the proper credit for their culture and being recognized for their culture. But I'll never digress. Now, the state's attempt to like re-Frenchanize these people didn't fucking work. You had 200 years between the last time they even heard real French to now. It wasn't working. They were still speaking something called Creole French. Peep, I said Creole French and not Cajun French. Because very shortly after they established that it was impossible to teach these people continental French and that they were just going to be stuck with Creole French, that's when the Cajuns decided, oh, we're going to call ours Cajun French. As if you speak a different fucking language. Hate these niggas. But back to the council. Now, the council has now put pride in the term Cajun. It is okay to be considered Cajun. I no longer look at it as being an insult. But there was an issue. Because now that it's okay to be considered Cajun and you guys are getting all this fucking good treatment from the local government and y'all getting fucking teachers flew in to teach all different languages, okay, the Creole people like, the fuck, send us some shit. So the Creole people decided, okay, we gonna have to stand up for what's right. During this time, please understand, Creole people are now black. Creole is synonymous to black. It's the 60s, civil rights. They did not have enough time and resources to actually fight for their culture to be properly represented, right? But they did not stop. They created a council. They created their own council. A lot of different people started different councils. But like I said, these people were under attack. They were going through war from their own government and white neighbors. So it couldn't be prioritized. But there was some major distinctions that was made in the 90s, for instance. Black people came out to say gumbo is not Cajun, it is Creole. These are things that was found in black newspaper. Zydeco music is not Cajun, it is Creole. Cajunization was once Creolization. Cajunization is gentrification. I mean, they say what the fuck they said and meant it. Okay, so obviously 1990s civil rights movement is over, essentially, right? But this is where we start to see the after effects of white people coining black things, because now, because of tourism, people have the local government has like marketed this Cajunness as something to come and see, like come see our Cajun. So now you have these tourist spots, right, where everything says Cajun, but it's really Creole, right? You have Creole food, Creole people, Creole culture, the beads and all these different things. It's just Creole, but they're marketing as Cajun, and that has been an issue. Nowadays, it's easier for Creole people to stand up for their culture, but back in that time, like the 90s, we never really stopped being under attack. So it was difficult to actually stand up for what was right when it came to your culture, because you had other things to fucking worry about. But it does bleed into the issue that we have today of things being called Cajun, when in reality, it's fucking Creole. So before you call somebody a Cajun, before you call a white person Cajun or Creole, check their history. And nowadays it's easy as check their skin. If you see a white person and they got this thick ass Louisiana accent, they are Cajun. If you see a black person and they got this thick ass Louisiana accent and they're from New Orleans, they are Creole. There's a difference. Thank y'all for watching. This is going to be the end of the series, the difference between Cajun and Creole. Tap the link tree below, donate and volunteer to my nonprofit, and also follow me on my socials, IG, TikTok, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. I love y'all.